Before the war, there were the core worlds, cities of impossible scale, cathedrals that touched the clouds, endless streets of marble and iron. The free peoples believed they had mastered their age. Elves shaped beauty into architecture. Dwarves carved mountains into fortresses. Men raised empires of steam and light. Orc clans forged dominions through strength and honor. Across the rings of the world, civilization flourished. They called it the Golden Age. But the Golden Age was an illusion. Because while they celebrated their triumph, something else was watching, waiting, learning. The world was divided into 7 great rings, vast regions surrounding the ancient heart of civilization. The outer rings were wild and unstable, frontiers of conquest, trade, and war. The middle rings carried the weight of empire, kingdoms, great cities, ancient alliances, and at the center stood the core worlds, the capitals of the free peoples, places where power gathered and history was written. But there was one ring the historians barely spoke of, Ring 7, a place sealed long ago, a place the old powers warned about, a place everyone believed had been forgotten. They were wrong. The core worlds were monuments to ambition. Great capitals rose across the land, elven cities of crystal forests and white towers, dwarven citadels carved into living mountains, human megacities of iron bridges, steam engines, and electric light, orc war capitals where banners of ancient clans filled the sky. Technology flourished. Wireless towers carried energy across entire cities. Airships and war machines patrolled the skies. Trade routes connected kingdoms across the rings. For the first time in history, the free peoples believed they had achieved balance. But power always attracts corruption. And the greater the empire, the greater the shadow beneath it. Far from the celebrations of the core worlds, another forgotten civilization was rising. Hidden beyond the knowledge of the kingdoms, a city of black crystal and perfect geometry, a metropolis of silent order. Its towers rose like polished obsidian blades into the night sky, every surface flawless, every structure immaculate. Here, the highest powers of the abyss gathered, a council without mercy. They believed chaos was weakness. They believed freedom was failure, and they believed the world would eventually collapse under its own disorder. So they built something different. Perfect control, perfect hierarchy, perfect war. To them, war was not destruction. War was purification. Armies were not tools. They were sacrifices. Every battle strengthened the order of the abyss. Every fallen soldier fed the system that elevated their rulers. The more disciplined the war, the more perfect the power above it. Their cities reflected this philosophy. At the center, sterile perfection. Around it, endless war. Because the abyss understood something the free peoples never did. Peace weakens civilizations. War reveals their truth. The core worlds were strong, but they were not united. Ancient rivalries between houses never truly disappeared. Kings feared their allies as much as their enemies. Trade guilds manipulated entire kingdoms. Noble houses fought silent wars of influence. Rebellions erupted across the outer rings, and slowly, the stability of the Golden Age began to fracture. No one realized how fragile their world had become, except the abyss. No empire falls in a single moment. It collapses through 1,000 small failures, broken alliances, greed, pride, and finally, desperation. When the first gate of Ring 7 opened, most believed it was an accident, a forgotten ruin, an ancient mechanism reawakened. But the truth was far more terrifying. The gate had been opened intentionally, because someone believed they could control what lived beyond it. They were wrong. When the armies of Ring 7 emerged, the Golden Age ended overnight. Cities that had stood for centuries burned within days. Entire legions disappeared in a single night. The sky itself seemed to darken above the core worlds. The free peoples fought with everything they had, elven war hosts, dwarven artillery legions, human imperial armies, orc war clans. But the war they faced was unlike anything they had known before, because the enemy did not seek victory, it sought transformation. The core worlds did not survive the war. Some cities were destroyed, others simply vanished. The ancient Tuatha disappeared without explanation. The great alliances shattered, and the rings of the world fell into isolation. Now every kingdom stands alone. Every army fights for survival, and every ruler knows the truth the Golden Age tried to ignore. The war has only begun, because somewhere beyond the storm, the black cities of the abyss still stand, perfect, untouched, watching and waiting for the next empire to fall. Remove the plus, be part of the old world.